Call tonight's meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilors Anderson.
Here.
Benega.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Costello.
Present.
Jameson.
Here.
Knutson.
Here.
Litz.
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
Mayor Munson.
Here. Quorum present for tonight's meeting. Tonight will be led in the invocation by City Council Member Greg Jameson, and after the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'd ask everyone to please rise.
Lord, thank you for the blessing of this moisture that you've given our city. Please bless us with a calm, slow warming trend in the spring. Also, Lord, bless the troops who are serving the military all over the world and are protecting our country. Tonight, Lord, be with the people in this room as we work to solve the problems of the city of Sioux Falls. And we come together as a team in the spirit of building a better Sioux Falls. In your name we pray.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilor. Now we'll start out. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move Knutson.
Ms. Moose, second.
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconds. Further motions? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes. Consent agenda has been approved 8-0. Is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So moved, Litz.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Further motions on the regular agenda? I see none, so all in favor vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
All members present have voted. The regular agenda has been approved 8-0. Now, this is the time we set aside a period of 5 minutes for the public input. Anyone wish to address the council, we just ask that they give their name. So if you want to come forward, just give your name. And
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Bill Early. I'm a citizen of Sioux Falls, and I'm a member of the Charter Revision Commission. And tonight I'm here to give you the information that the Charter Revision Commission has come up with for the ballot this spring. The commission, just for your information, is made up of Pamela Miller, Dick Gregerson, Tam Baker, and Lon Stroschein, and myself. We've been meeting since 2007. We've had some items on the ballot in 2008. And tonight, as a courtesy to the council, we bring to you 2 amendments to the charter which we're proposing for the election this year. Earlier today, the ballots and the information was delivered to the city clerk's office as required by the charter. Within the information you received, you'll see not only the ballot, but you'll see an underscore and overstrike page, which is for your information. That's not part of the official ballot. But you can see the changes that were made to the 2 proposals before you that the commission came up with. I can go through it and read it. You can read it. But as is required by the charter, we have to present this to the clerk, and we've done that earlier today. So is there any questions? I'd be glad to answer.
First of all, I'd like to thank you and the other members for serving on this task force for a revision for 2 years, 2.5 years. So, and I was thinking for the listening public, it might be helpful if you would just give a short summary of the amendments for those who are listening on Channel 16.
Okay, sure. All right, the two changes that we're proposing on this ballot. I'll give you why don't I give you the city attorney's explanation of Amendment A. This proposed change, as approved and submitted by the Charter Revision, clarifies that the mayor will determine the appropriate form or format of the annual budget submission to the city council, and also specifies that the city council members may thereafter inquire and obtain any necessary information about the mayor's budget proposal. Pretty much a wordsmithing, but it defines it a little better so that you can request the information from the mayor, and it's the budget that he proposes, which has always been the case. And then, secondly, there's an amendment, and this was brought forward actually by a former councilperson, Mary Glinski. And in this one, this is the composition and people that are on the, let me see, I'm going to get the correct name. It's on the redistricting commission. There had been some question, I think, in the past as to where these people live, and this information, or this change, is going to say the following. The proposed change, as approved submitted by the Charter Revision Commission, would require that in the future, each appointed districting commissioning member would have his or her residence in a separate city council district in order to allow for representation of each of the 5 city council districts. In addition, subsection 4 further clarifies how a vacancy on the districting commission may occur and or be filled by the city council. Those are the two ballot initiatives that we're bringing forward.
Thank you very much, Bill. We really do appreciate your service
Thank you.
on that. Appreciate all the work you guys have done. Others that wish to address the council for a 5-minute period, come forward. Give your name, please.
Kyle Weideman up on North Dakota Avenue. When I'm here this evening, we had a house that burned down in the city of Sioux Falls because the fire department couldn't find the fire hydrant. It was buried in snow. My question is, and I think Mr. Cotter has explained it tonight, he said they have a few markers for those hydrants. I have spent 3 weeks and been told over and over and over again there were none in the city to be had. They had no idea who was responsible for them, and they have not. Today I was even told they were not ordered. I think it's a matter of the left hand doesn't seem to know what the right hand is doing. I think that needs to be brought to some kind of a fruition so they're all marked, so we don't lose another home. Thank you.
Others wish to address council for 5-minute public input. If not, we'll move into the regular agenda, item number 2.
Deferred action from meeting January 19th, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by amending Chapter 15 and a half fees.
Good evening, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. We had previously requested this ordinance to be deferred so that we could look at some alternative language that would address some of the questions that have come up about criteria for exemption of fees for certain affordable housing projects. We've been putting together information on historical nonprofit permits and fees, as well as some proposed criteria. Because that information hasn't been distributed yet, we would like to request another deferral to March 1st with the intent that we would get the information out yet this week to the City Council and others that would be interested in this item so that we can be sure not to have another deferral on March 1st.
I make a motion that we defer this item until March 1st, 2010. Knutson.
Second. Let's second? Okay, I didn't hear, I'm sorry. Further comments on the motion to defer item 2 until March 1st, 2010?
Mike, can I ask a quick question? Instead of naming the groups, is it possible to make this a little more broad-based and talk about any organization that's a 501c3 nonprofit with a homeless background to address affordable housing rather than naming each particular organization?
Based on the input that I've been receiving, that's kind of the direction that we've been recommended, is to develop more of a criteria rather than listing specific organizations. But you'll have a chance to look at it, and I appreciate any comments or feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Further comments? Got a motion made by Knut, second by Litz, to defer item 2 until March 1st. All in favor of that deferral? Vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jameson,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 2 will be deferred until March first. Item 3.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota by repealing the city's licensing of dance hall establishments.
Okay, I guess the Public Service Committee reviewed this ordinance and recommends repeal of the dance hall ordinances. They were adopted in 1957 and are no longer needed.
Okay, do you want to make a motion? Anybody else want to talk on item number 3?
Mr. Mayor, I need to excuse myself also.
Okay, it'd be noted that Councilmember Costello and Benega will be excused from item number 3. Well, not everybody. Do you want to make
move
one?
to accept this.
You made the motion?
I made
Okay,
the motion.
Anderson made the motion.
second
to
the motion.
approve, and
Knutson.
Knutson seconds the motion. Further comments on the item? Seeing none, all in favor of approving item number 3 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 3 has been approved, 6 yes, 2 excused. Item 4.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, proposing a city charter amendment for the 2010 April election through the Charter Provision Article 8, Section 8.1.
So we're- That's Jim.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a couple of comments?
Okay.
The reason I brought this forward is that
yours.
I've had comments from people who want to run in specific districts, and they think that they ought to be able to get the same number of signatures for their petitions that school board members and county officials get. And it's easier, obviously, for a district to get just 50 than the 200, which is what the at-large individuals would need to do. So my recommendation would be to make the ordinance, to make the process easier in this ordinance to get more people involved for a simpler number of signatures.
I'd just like to add to that, that for the state legislature, the number is also 50. So with that in mind, I'd move to approve.
Okay, you made the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Okay, further comments?
Just a question, Councilor Bennigan, I should have asked you this before, is that when we think about comparing the number of signatures, like with the few that you need to obtain if you're running for county commission or for school board, I mean, the more I think about this, I mean, I almost wonder if it should be 50, even if you're running at large, and I was just wondering what I might be missing on that.
Is that because you ran at large?
Yeah. No, I had no trouble getting 200 signatures, but other people might not have as easy a time.
Well, I guess the obvious is that there's a tremendous amount more people at large than there is in specific districts, and that's the reason the logic was made.
Okay, and I understand that logic, and the only thing is like for school board members, they run, throughout the whole city, and county commissioners run throughout the whole county and not by districts, and so that was the part that was illogical to me, but I could have asked this question earlier.
Further comments? Others that wish to address the council on item number 4? Not. We've got a motion been made and seconded to approve item 4. Further discussion? I see none, so all in favor of approving item 4 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 4 has been approved 8-0. Item 5.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota by revising boundaries for voting precincts as set forth in Section 14-2 of Chapter 14 Elections.
Mayor Deborah Owen, City Clerk. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the ordinance before the council. It is requested by the County Auditor Sue Roust, and in short, it will help ease voter congestion, and also just a brief of what's happening with the precincts in there. It's a very long ordinance. There's only really 3 precincts that are being changed. 311 would be changed to split to 316 and then 311. Precinct 313 would be split for 317 and 313, and then Precinct 110 and 115 is simply having the boundary lines changed or redrawn so we can even out those numbers in those precincts. And we're doing it now not so much for the city election, which the voter turnout will be much less, but for the general election later in November, and perhaps even the primary turnout may be, upwards above 50%. And we try to do it at the beginning of the election year so that all of the precinct numbers will stay the same throughout every one of the elections this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 5?
I move for approval of item number 5. Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve? I see none, so all in favor vote yes, those opposed no.
Councilors Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 5 has been approved 8-0. 6.
An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by amending Chapter 25.5 noise control.
Jill Franken, Assistant Health Director. This item is to amend the noise control ordinance in Chapter 25.5. The summary of those changes would be that it will exempt the private events that are located right now in public parks. It'll eliminate the need to permit for those private events. It also eliminates the automatic 1-year no permit rule for any violation that's occurred on behalf of a business that has applied for permits and been permitted. It also integrates the requested changes to permitted sound in downtown Sioux Falls in the business district, and it also adjusts the application fees as we talked about last week. Also, in addition to that, based on feedback we have received, we have been working with Councilor Anderson on a revision to the special permit application fee. This change is what I talked about last week at the first reading, which will take that special permit application fee and split it out into a 1-day, a 2-day, and an up to 3-day event fee. As I believe you should have that available to you.
Questions?
I'm going to excuse myself.
Okay. They noted that Councilor Costello will be excused from item number 6. Is there questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 6? Not. Is there a motion to approve? Okay, go ahead.
My name is Tom Munster, and I'm a resident of downtown Sioux Falls. I own some property in downtown. I also have an office. In short, I live, work, and play in downtown Sioux Falls. I was also a part of the task force that put together the proposed changes to this ordinance, and at times those discussions were passionate. There's a lot of excitement about the growth in downtown Sioux Falls, and there are a few growing pains. But I would like to thank the city for their effort to make this ordinance much improved. The Sioux Falls Police Department was very helpful, along with the Health Department. Downtown Sioux Falls and Dan Stadema did a great job. And I'd also like to specifically recognize Brent O'Neill with the Planning Department, who was our coordinator and moderator for that group. And this ordinance that I hope you're going to adopt this evening is much improved due to Brent's efforts. In short, I'm just here to support that ordinance, and I hope you'll adopt it as proposed.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all the work you guys have all done on this. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Litz.
Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson, second. Further motions? Do you have one? What? Does he have one?
Yes, to the amendment.
No, just,
Do we have to amend this, Jill?
do we have to?
Yeah, so you got, so something, do you have it?
Yes, you do have to make an amendment.
On the special?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And that should have been provided to you today, correct?
No, I just forwarded the information that was submitted. They have to verbally state what you said earlier. You just have to
What
state.
page does it go on?
It's in Section 16,
Section
the
what?
very last section of the ordinance.
Section what?
Section 16.
Mayor, if I may, I wonder, I think it's in the red notes, and it's highlighted for you all to read. And so I'll give it to Kenny
You
to
want to pull it
read.
out, the chart, the table.
Okay, for the special application type, single events lasting no more than 3 consecutive days, requesting extended time and/or decibel levels. The application deadline is a minimum of 1 month prior to the event date. The adjustments on the permit cost, day 1 is $90, day 2 is $130, day 3 is $170. If it is past the fee deadline, day 1 would be $135, day 2 would be $195, day 3 would be $255.
That's your motion?
Yes.
That's substitute motion to amend. Okay, and is there a second to that?
Second, let's
Second it. Further comments on that motion?
Just want to say, I want to thank the Health Department for sitting down with me and discussing the issues. I understand that this is, the beginning of taking a look at events in Sioux Falls. As they change, they grow and become more frequent. We have establishments now that are almost weekly having outdoor events. I think this is a very good start, and I want to commend you, Jill and Judy, for coming up with this.
Thank you. Others that wish to address the council on the proposed amendment? Got an amendment before us? Seeing no one come forward, we will vote on the amendment. All in favor of the substitute amendment, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
That motion passes, 7 yes, 1 excused. We're back to the main motion as amended. Motion been made and seconded. All in favor of approving as amended will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
That motion prevails, 7 yes, 1 excused. So item 6 been approved as amended. Item 7.
An ordinance, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, repealing Section 5-2.6 of said city.
Hey, good evening, Brent O'Neill with the Planning Department. I have a couple of slides here to just reiterate the work we've been doing on the sidewalk use ordinance. The first one here, item 7, was repeal of a section in the alcohol beveraging chapter related to the sales and consumption of alcohol on the public sidewalk. With the proposed amendment in item 8, we feel that item in chapter 29 does a more specific and thorough job of taking care of that alcohol issue, and we recommend repeal of section 5-2.6.
Questions of Brent? Others that wish to address the council on item number 7? Is there a motion to
So
approve?
moved, Benega.
Benega moves. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve item 7? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present vote. Item 7 is approved 8-0. Item 8.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by creating Article 4, right-of-way allowances in the Central Business District, and Article 5, events in the Central Business District, along with revising Article 3 of Chapter 29 to revise reference to sidewalk vendors.
On this item, I have just a short summary going over the changes that we're proposing. First, I just wanted to mention that this ordinance is something that's enabling those activities to take place downtown. Without some sort of sidewalk use ordinance, these activities on the right-of-way would generally be prohibited. This amendment also does a more specific job of detailing the activities that are allowed in the sidewalk. Wanted to point out that we did have a fairly thorough public involvement process. We partnered with Downtown Sioux Falls and developed a representative stakeholder group that Mr. Munster was a part of. And we've also shared this publicly at 2 public meetings in October. Our ultimate goal on this was to support outdoor activity downtown through an ordinance update that was appealing to all downtown stakeholders. On the next slide here, I picked out 6 of what we felt were the key changes. One, we did a better job of defining what was allowed downtown and sort of the other parameters downtown. We shifted from a single permitting process to a 3-tiered process, trying to be more reflective of the type of use, being less stringent when it was appropriate to be less stringent. A very important part was maintaining the pedestrian pathway and that mobility function downtown. Because of some square footage limitations, we did look at a quantity limit that would go into that. Made sure we were providing adequate safety provisions, and then we also, again related to the last item, provided more detailed provisions on the alcohol issue. I wanted to point out, too, that we feel that this is going to improve customer service related to this item. It's going to be a shorter and simpler approval process. We'll have better guidelines for operations. And one of the things that will be new as we develop the new forms and stuff for this process will be the ability for us to put all of it online and disseminate that information in those forms that way. One final change was moving the events from Article 3 to Article 5 of this chapter. In many ways a housekeeping item, but did allow us to clarify the language in there and be a little bit more reflective of how the process currently works. With that, we did reduce the quantity of preemptions, which was a discussion item previously. And I also wanted to point out here, too, that this is part of the website that we have up already, ready to give more information on events. With that.
Questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 8?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Dan Sotomo with Downtown Sioux Falls. I'd just like to echo some of the comments from Mr. Munster that this wasn't a necessarily quick process, it wasn't a necessarily painless process, but it was a very needed process. And in the end, I don't think you could find any stakeholders that wouldn't say the product we ended up with is a healthy product. It tries to find that balance between the many different types of competing uses in a small area, and thank you for your support tonight.
Thank you, Dan. Others that wish to address the council on item 8? Not. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Bennigan.
Bennigan moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jamison.
Jamison seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve item 8? Seeing none, all in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 8 has been approved 8-0. Item 9.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, conveying Lot A in southwest quarter of Section 3-T101 North-R49 west of the 5th PM, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Mark Cotter with the Office of Public Works. Tonight we bring to you an offer to purchase this pretty challenging piece of property that's located west of Cliff Avenue, just in the neighborhood of Amadon Street, or just kitty corner from St. Michael's Cemetery. If we can zoom in a little bit tighter than that. Is there another slide? Okay. The majority of this property is pretty challenging from a topography standpoint, and those lines that you see, if you recall, as you go up Cliff Avenue, it's a very steep piece of property, and but it's being sold as one parcel. It's about just over 82,000 square feet. We did have a public auction. There was a number of brokers there. We had one active bidder. It was a pretty difficult project, pretty difficult I-1 parcel to actually develop good comps on. But there are some other I-1 properties in the area, but very few unique to this one. The comps were essentially based on 25. The value of this was established by about 25% of the comps. That didn't prove to be true at the auction, but just based on the person that bought the land actually owns the land that is immediately to the west. They bought that from Sioux Empire Development Park. And so tonight we're here to answer your questions, but we do recommend approval.
Questions of Mark on item number 9? Not. Is there a motion at the hearing date for February 16th for item 9?
So moved, Litz.
Litz moves. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Further comments on the motion at the hearing date? Seeing none, all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present have voted. The hearing date has been set for February 16th for item 9, 8-0. Item 10.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, to conduct a special meeting of the Lincoln County Commission, Minnehaha County Commission, and Sioux Falls City Council on Tuesday, February 16, 2010, at 5 p.m.
We have been working with the City Council on our Shape Sioux Falls comprehensive plan that has gone through City Council action. State law does require that county commissions also act on that comprehensive plan. And so rather than having two separate meetings with Lincoln and Minnehaha County Commissions, we did contact the Lincoln County representatives, and they have agreed to join us for a special meeting on the 16th of February to take action on the comprehensive plan with the City Council and Minnehaha County Commission. At that same meeting, we would also propose to have a briefing by Mark Cotter on a proposal, an analysis that's going on regarding a regional sanitary sewer study. So this resolution will allow us to have that special meeting with all three governing boards together.
Questions of Mike on item number 10? Others that wish to address the council on item number 10?
I move for approval of item number 10.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconds. Further comments on that motion? I see none, so all in favor vote yes, those opposed no.
Councilors Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Alderman and President have voted. Item 10 has been approved 8-0. Item 11.
A resolution amending the City of Sioux Falls engineering design standards.
Good evening, Chad Hebe with the Engineering Division of Public Works. The city's engineering design standards are the guidelines and principles that we use to design and construct the city's infrastructure. These standards are reviewed annually and revised if needed. Tonight, revisions are proposed for the following chapters. Chapter 5, Street Access and Parking Lot Criteria. Chapter 8, Street Design and Pavement Thickness. Chapter 9, Sanitary Sewers. Chapter 10, Water Mains. Chapter 11, Drainage Improvements. Chapter 12, Erosion and Sediment Control. And Chapter 15, Street Lighting. Many of these proposed revisions evolved from Infrastructure Review and Advisory Board subcommittees comprised of city staff, engineering consultants, developers, contractors, and representative of the Home Builders Association. These proposed revisions have been approved and recommended by the Infrastructure Review and Advisory Board. On January 25th, these proposed revisions were presented to the Land Use Committee of this City Council. The Land Use Committee recommended these proposed revisions be brought to the City Council for review and action. Tonight I will highlight proposed revisions in Chapter 5 and Chapter 8. In Chapter 5, we have added minimum design standards for diagonal parking. The comprehensive plan, Shape Sioux Falls 2035, discusses vertical mixed land use. 2 of the 9 policies for vertical mixed use, or urban villages, are that buildings have at least 2 stories or more and more than one use, and that there is on-street parking. We were approached by a developer regarding a proposed development in northwest Sioux Falls that wanted to incorporate this urban village with diagonal parking. Since we did not have any standards for this type of parking, a subcommittee was formed and minimum standards for pull-in parking and back-in parking were created. Standards are included for street width, right-of-way requirements, stall width, and parking angle. The subcommittee conducted a field demonstration and tested the different street widths for a driver to comfortably pull into and back out of a stall and not cross the center line of the street, impeding oncoming traffic. The pull-in for this type of diagonal parking, the minimum street width is 32 feet from the face of curb to the street center line. And for comparison, Phillips Avenue is 28 feet. So this diagonal parking from center line to face of curb would be 4 feet wider than it is on Phillips Avenue. Other requirements are that diagonal parking will be on local or collector streets only. A maintenance agreement is required between the city and the developer. This diagonal parking will not be metered, and currently, any diagonal parking on any street in the city of Sioux Falls has to be approved by the city council, and that will remain the same. So with that, I will entertain any questions on diagonal parking, if I may.
Questions? Okay, go ahead.
All right, on to Chapter 8. We have added a railroad overpass policy. A grade-separated crossing will be considered when one or more of the following criteria exist. The roadway is an arterial street. The roadway design speed is at least 45 miles per hour. The roadway has a projected volume of 10,000 vehicles per day. The rail line has a design speed of 49 miles an hour. Or the rail line carries an average of 3 or more trains at the location for consideration. Other factors that will be considered include safety, vehicle and pedestrian accessibility, street connectivity, driver delay, and train noise. With that, I'll take any questions on the overpass or any other proposed changes.
Questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, Chad, one of the issues we talked about in the committee was in regard to that diagonal parking, that the diagonal parking will be city-owned, and you mentioned the maintenance agreement, where we're going to have the adjacent private property owner, in this particular case, paying for the maintenance of it. And at the committee meeting, I expressed concern that here we are, we're kind of, once again, the city not taking responsibility for its own property, but having an adjacent property owner do it. And that's in contrast to what we have downtown, where, appropriately, the city is taking, responsibility for those parking places. And I was just wondering, have you had any discussions about, in regard to this diagonal parking issue, about just having the city take care of its own property instead of making things more confusing and more unclear for property owners?
Are you talking about the snow removal portion of the agreement or the maintenance of the actual parking strip?
Well, the snow removal, we're going to have the private property owners responsible for that. I'm correct in... Is that correct?
That's what we would
yes,
propose.
Right. And then in the maintenance agreement, maybe you can clarify the maintenance agreement in that particular issue.
I can.
Yes, sure.
During our meetings, we talked about two issues that came to our mind as we talked about diagonal parking. One being snow removal and one being maintenance of that parking strip. But first I'll just comment on snow removal. On any typical local or collector street, there's usually, you have the sidewalk, you have a boulevard section, and then you have the street. And that's where the snow goes from the streets, is usually in that boulevard section. These boulevards will not have, or these streets will not have boulevard sections. They'll be basically zero setbacks, and the front door of the building will be the property line. And so, in other new developments around town, where you have local and collector streets, all we do for snow removal typically is just push the snow onto the boulevards. So part of this maintenance agreement will be to try to determine who handles the snow removal, because there'll be nowhere to put that snow. We have it downtown. It's unique. We do things downtown that we do differently in other parts of the city. And so one of the ideas is that snow removal, we'll do our plowing, but the private developer would be required to haul that snow off.
Mr. Chair? Thank you. Chad, is it, I was thought that the idea of this was that as you build a new business, you're required to have so many parking spaces, and these parking spaces would add to the zoning requirement for the number of spaces.
Yes, and that's the next part of the parking maintenance. These parking spaces in front of these businesses will be counted towards the number of spots required by zoning for each type of business. In other developments, parking for that business is required to be off-street in a private lot. So to be consistent with these other developments in the newly developing areas of town, our thought was that these parking strips would be maintained similar to a private parking lot.
Thank you.
ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
yeah, so that's my primary concern. We're just having private property owners being responsible for city property. And then we're also having a difference, as mentioned, between, this kind of like a little downtown area they're trying to construct and downtown Sioux Falls. And this is, I guess, the major concern I had about this is that we're just simply not being consistent and treating people, downtown differently from this development, which is trying to create a kind of a downtown atmosphere.
I will comment that during the subcommittee meetings, the developer that we were discussing with was in support of removing snow and taking care of this parking strip.
But also, I think if you really gave him a choice, he'd probably say no.
And I'll just comment that snow removal as downtown, as you know, is very expensive. And we're just trying to be consistent with the new developments in the city of Sioux Falls.
Other questions? Okay, go ahead.
That's all I have.
No, done. Okay, further questions? Others who wish to address the council on item number 11? Not. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Let's
move. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve item 11?
Yeah, I do have those particular reservations, which I just mentioned, but there are other good parts to this ordinance, and so I'm going to be voting in favor of it, Jack.
Thank you.
Further comments on the motion to approve item 11? I see none, so all in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 11 has been approved 8-0. Item 12.
A resolution approving the Sioux Falls Parks and Recreation 20-year comprehensive plan.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Don Kearney with Parks and Recreation. One of our goals for 2010 as a department was to become accredited through CAPRA, which stands for the Commission for the Accreditation of Parks and Recreation Agencies. We embarked on this process over a year ago with a major test of having the CAPRA site review team evaluate our evidence of compliance that we compiled to meet the 155 standards as defined by CAPRA. It's important to note that to be considered for accreditation, an agency must meet all 36 of what are considered fundamental standards and 85% of the, or 102 of the remaining 119 non-fundamental standards. In total, 138 of the 155 standards must be met to be accredited. We're pleased to report that the CAPRA site review team determined that the department had met 153 out of the 155 standards, including all 36 of the fundamental standards. The resolution before you tonight is in response to recommendations we received from that agency review site team from their visit this past October to Sioux Falls. While they approved our Parks and Recreation Comprehensive Plan as meeting the criteria for accreditation by CAPRA, they requested that we take the evidence of compliance that we used and assembled to meet the Comprehensive Plan accreditation standard and combine it into one comprehensive planning document. So with the assistance of our media services and our planning department, we're able to put that comprehensive document together, and our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board on January 19th approved the comprehensive plan and recommends the same to the City Council. And so with the City Council's approval, it would strengthen our accreditation documentation and solidify our efforts to become accredited. On March 19th in Washington, D.C., CAPRA will decide if our Parks and Recreation Department is accredited or not. With your approval, we'll be able to walk this planning document into the accreditation hearing and strengthen our position. It's important for you to realize that while there is a lot of information in the comprehensive plan that we're presenting to you tonight, many of those items have come before this council already, and if they haven't come before the council for your approval, you're certainly been familiar with them or they're certainly available as a general rule. And so we want you to know that there's really nothing new in this document. I would like to thank each and every one of you for supporting us in our endeavor to be accredited as a department. We really believe that we've refined our operations as a result of the process and hope to continue to get better every day at delivering our quality parks and recreation services to the community. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Questions of Don?
I don't have a question. Excuse me, I have a response. That's an incredible score for your certification process. When we had the opportunity to meet with that commission, they had nothing but positive things to say about you and your department. It shows wonderful leadership from the Park and Rec Board, and I think we all ought to be very proud of what you guys have done in this community with Park and Rec stuff, and you ought to be commended personally for that.
Thank you. I'll certainly pass that along to the rest of the staff.
Thank you. Further comments from others that wish to address the council on item number 12? Not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve item 12? Seeing none, all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 12 has been approved, 8-0. Item 13.
A resolution advising and giving consent to the appointment of members to certain citizen boards.
That's one I think everybody has in their book, and not only any questions. Go ahead.
Mayor, since there are only 6 of them, would you please share them with us for the listening public?
All of these, go ahead. There's Robert Swanhorse, the Board of Ethics, Robert Kirschjard, Board of Health, Dave Baer, Board of Health, Jim Richardson, Board of Health, Bill Chemist, Infrastructure Review Board, Patty Abdallah, Parks and Rec, Mark Mileage, Parks and Rec, Barry Solomon, Sioux Falls Ice and Rec, and Charles O'Brien, Washington Pavilion Board of Trustees, Catherine Pearsall, Zoological Society of Sioux Falls Board, and Gloria Homey, Zoological Society Board of Directors. And that's the ones that they're all being appointed for a certain period of time that they have.
Thank you. I realize that's more than 6. I'm counting backwards.
Go ahead.
I guess I have a question of clarification. In taking a look at the 11 people that are being appointed,
Say what?
I think there's 11. Yeah. 9 of them are being appointed for a longer term than what is listed on the city boards and committees. What I mean by that, for example, is for the Board of Ethics, it's a 4-year term, but the person that's being appointed is going to be appointed from February 2010 to December 2014. So that's almost 5 years instead of 4 years. So I was just wondering about.
Which individual are you looking at?
Well,
Robert Swanhorse.
Yeah, that's the first example.
Most of the positions end either in December and are appointed in January, or they're appointed in May, starting in June. And so all of these boards, this one would end in December. That's when the Board of Ethics appoints new members. Normally, we find persons to be appointed in the month of November. Unfortunately, this group did not have a person to appoint at that time. We just made appointments last December. So we try not to do them out of sync, Kermit, if at all possible.
Yes. But I guess when you take a look that they're going to serve on a board for 4 years, and then it's actually almost 5 years, it's, it doesn't, well, that's out of sync, I guess. So and what I'm thinking is that this first example, the Board of Ethics, February 2010 is when the person will be appointed, and to follow the 4-year term, it should be February 2014, but it's December 2014 instead. And there are these other examples, too, where people are being appointed really for a longer period of time than
Some boards are 3 years.
I can understand the logistics problems,
Sure.
yes. I do.
Some are 3, 4, and 5-year appointments,
Yes.
depending on the board.
And so of the 11, I found that really 9 are over the years. So for The second example would be the following. On the Board of Health, appointed for a term from February 2010 to December 2013. Well, that's a 3-year term. They start in February 2010. They should end in February 2013, but they're ending in December 2013. So it's quite a bit of, additional.
Correct, but
Yes.
again, it's to get them in appointments with the regular months, so.
And that's the bylaws of what they have for each organization has for the duration. I mean, Parks has a longer time than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
We try to try and keep them as succinct as possible, because there are 40 different boards.
Yes.
That's what we choose. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I guess this is the first time I realized that we're appointing people for a longer period of time than what is listed, that there's to serve. So,
It's the way the bylaws are written, that the appointments. I mean, the one that on Parks and Rec, there's one to fill an unexpired term that went until 2014, so that, some are longer than others.
yeah. I mean, the first one, just to really, it's almost 5 years when it's supposed to be a 4-year term.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 13? Not, is there a motion?
I move for approval of item number 13, Knutson.
Second, Litz. Who's second? Litz. Litz second, okay. Further comments?
Well, for what it's worth, I guess I'm going to offer an amendment that those people that are being appointed actually serve the correct amount of time. Like if they're appointed for a 4-year term, they actually serve a 4-year term.
So you're saying you want to amend these here tonight?
I'm just throwing that out to see if there's
But
any...
I think, because of the bylaws, you'd have to go back and amend the bylaws of each department. I think yours are different, Don, I think, than some other, from health, for instance. So you'd have to go
I'm
back to
sure
the
the
bylaws. I don't know how
bylaws-
you can do that arbitrarily.
Well, I'm sure the bylaws say 4-year terms, and...
The bylaws must say, Don, is yours 5 years? Yes.
Yeah,
So
that's
the
5.
bylaws are what
And on
dictate
that
this.
5-year one, that's also over 5 years we're appointing a person to. So in other words, are we really complying with the bylaws in terms of years? And I guess I'd be a little concerned whether we are.
Well, that's something we have to take a look at, but I mean, I'd have to think we are in compliance with that, so. Yeah, I mean, they are, like, the one is to fill an unexpired term. And,
Some of those, but some are not.
yeah, some aren't, but some are, again, I think they come with the bylaws when we fill the terms and, of when we do that, so you'd probably have to look at those, so. Did you have a motion?
Yeah, I'm just moving that we actually have these people serve the amount of time that is listed here for 4 years, for example, Board of Ethics, 3 years for Board of Health, 3 years for Infrastructure Review Board, 5 years for Parks and Rec, 5 years for Sioux Falls Ice and Rec Center Board, and 3 years for Zoological Society of Sioux Falls Board of Directors. That's what they're supposed to serve for, and they're actually serving for longer.
Is there a second to the motion?
That's the amendment.
Pardon?
That's the
Okay,
amendment.
is there a second to the motion? That dies for lack of a second. We're back to the main motion that's been made and seconded to approve item 13. All further comments? All in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
All members present have voted 7 yes and 1 no. Item 13 has been approved. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Let's.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconds. All in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Stand adjourned.
Procedure.